and welcome to EdYou, your weekly roundup of events, developments, and conversations in the education sector. I'm Caroline Samuel, and on this week's episode, we highlight Musings of a Poet 4 and how you can pursue theater arts in Guyana. We chat with teacher Stanton Marks about cerebral palsy as we continue to learn about developmental disabilities, and we begin the countdown to NGSA 2026. All that and more on this episode of EdYou. Stay with us. For years, you've tuned in to EdYou FM on 99.7 FM for education, entertainment, and edutainment. But now, we're making the big switch.
Switch your dial from 99.7 FM to 99.5 FM.
Same edutaining mission to educate communities across Guyana.
EdYou FM, now on 99.5 FM in regions 3, 4, and 5.
Don't wait, make the switch.
Last week, the National Drama Company hosted Musings of a Poet, 2 evenings of creative expression through music, dance, drama, and of course, poetry. The National Drama Company is a cohort of actors, actresses, dancers, singers, musicians, writers, directors, managers, and designers who have graduated from the National School of Theatre Arts and Drama, NSTAD. According to creative director Al Crichton, the members of the NDC are an elite group intended to be a model repertory company, serving as a professional performing extension of the school. Its aim is to provide an extension of training in theater techniques to educate and entertain the public with worthy examples of performance. As the national conversations about education and the creative industries continue, let's hear now from Nikosi Lane, NDC member and graduate of the School of Theatre Arts and Drama, about his thoughts on the recently concluded Musings of a Poet 4 and on how his arts education is supporting his career in the creative space.
So, Musings of a Poet this year, I think it has grown. We have gotten familiar with what the product is. We know what it is we're offering, so it's easier for us to work in that process to ensure that it's the best version of Musings that it could be. And Musings this year, I felt jealous of the audience, especially looking at the pictures that were taken by Jamie, because when you look at what they must have experienced, we had none of that. We did not have the lights, we did not have the stage in our rehearsal process. It was just working together to ensure that everybody is good and to ensure that we're sharpening each other and critiquing everybody else. But you never, as a performer, get to see that show. So I was a bit jealous of, the audience members. But, Musings 5 is next year, so we'll get to see how much I can be in the audience then. I think my arts education has helped my career in so many ways. One is to trust the process. That's something we say in theater all the time. And when you look at my process in arts education from English B and social studies as well, because it is through using the arts that I was able to learn a lot of things in social studies, like the electoral process. We would act it out in school. And so from moving from there, where I was very expressive, but thinking back, I don't think I was very good. I was definitely an overactor back then. You give me something to do and I gotta do it. Well, I still do it big, but within certain confines. And then passing through the drama school where I first learned of the history of theater arts. And when you already like this thing and then you learn about the history, it makes it so much stronger. It makes it so much more important. And you can relate how the arts are treated now and how people in the arts get to develop now from looking at, mirrors back in Cromwell's time or back in Grecian theater and so on. And so they give me the history at the drama school. Then when I went to the UE, it was building on that. And I already had a good foundation. So when I had to do directing or anything like that, it caused me to have a foundation to know where I'm coming from and to root myself in the Guyanese experience and the Caribbean experience as well.
The Distance Education Unit is working towards improving its content and programming by upskilling teachers and strengthening relations with the radio station monitors in the regions. This week, the unit hosted a 5-day scriptwriting workshop for secondary school teachers. This workshop was intended to train teachers of various subjects, math, English, the sciences, social studies, and theater arts, on how to develop lessons for radio, as well as television. The sessions were facilitated by veteran educator Dr. Sita Roth, who played an essential role in the conception of the Guyana Learning Channel.
It's actually teaching teachers the basics of script writing for multimedia. In this case, television and radio. And they were aware that they could take their scripts and make it into in-person presentations for the classroom. So basically, it's script writing for multimedia. So they started from the idea, and they built that up into the log line and to the story development with their climax, the beginning, middle, end. And they've done very well in all subject areas, from literature, mathematics, science, to computer science, to everything, whatever subject they taught in school or teach in school, that's what they translated using their knowledge of their target audiences, which is the grade level that they teach at, and the knowledge of their students to create the content. So the curriculum that they teach every day, right? The target audience that they teach every day, so that cut out maximum research need. And so they were able to create beautiful scripts in multimedia scripts for different subject areas, different levels, but these are all secondary school teachers, but for different grade levels. It was really a good experience for me, for them. It was a good sharing, a good interaction. The presentations were wonderful, creative. So our teachers are really creative, and we're proud of them. For them, they're now armed with the basics of script writing for different media. And they now understand that it's a continuous learning process. It's a coaching, learning, mentoring, and it's not finished, right? Because I have them in a Google Classroom, and they will continue to submit, continue to learn, continue to produce. The next step is another round of scripts. They're each doing a series. Yes, they've started a series, they've each produced at least 3 to 6. One student has done 7 episodes within the series, and that will continue. Some of them may reach 10 in the series and then start another series. So it's just the beginning.
The Distance Education Unit also hosted a 2-day workshop for monitors. This workshop, facilitated by head of the unit, Philip Williams, and broadcast engineer Michael Ford, was intended to address the monitors' challenges, listen to their recommendations, and develop a standard procedure for troubleshooting and maintaining our sites.
First of all, it's the first time that you guys are coming together under one umbrella as distance education. We've always operated in our own little silos. We have the people doing radio, people doing TV, then we have the hybrid crew, people who do radio and TV, and then we have people who do digital television as well. Today we can boast about 22 sites, Mike? 22? 20 sites across Guyana, with a presence in each administrative region. You're a part of the largest dedicated educational media content delivery network in this part of the world. That's huge. The biggest network. This is one of a kind, and you are a part of it. You are making it happen.
As you all know, Guyana is a relatively expansive country, and our population centers are sparsely spread out over vast areas of terrain that are very difficult to traverse. So, given the situation, the challenge was how to reach learners across the country with common, current, and curriculum relevant information for education. So the first distance learning tool that NSERC utilized was broadcast to schools, where the national radio station would give us a time slot during the school day. And even though it was good at the time, it wasn't adequate enough. So in 2011, the Ministry of Education launched a Guyana Learning Channel, where learners across the country could now experience in real time a visual presentation of the action lessons designed for various target audiences, and throughout the 24-hour day. There were lessons for students from nursery right through to university. Even teacher training was done in the late lessons. And this was achieved by the deployment of 16 broadcast relay stations. Even though this was not a complete solution, we tried to cover the larger population centers in each region. And to that end, as you can see, each of you represented here could tell where these stations are located at. In order of deployment, we started at Georgetown. We did Georgetown, New Amsterdam, and Regina. Anna Regina was in Charity, and then relocated to Cottonfield, where it is right now. Ben Oblinden, Kokwani, Aishalton. Aishalton was one of the first ones. Letem, Anai Karasvai, Madia, Bartico, Port Kaituma, Mabrumo, Oyala, and Aichuni. Late in 2022, EdYou FM, our own radio station, was born, and that bolsters the distance learning capability of NSERT by not only utilizing the existing 16 sites the Learning Channel had, but rolling out additional relays at Cameron, Kaikan, Kato, and Maruko. So those are the 20 sites with which we currently have in our network. Some of you are aware that your station transmits a digital TV station along with analog. And you might be wondering why my station has both a channel 5 and a channel 25 television. The reason for that is that in analog TV, in analog TV world, like what they have in Mabaruma, one TV channel could only give one program at a time. Whenever you go to that channel, if Philip is on the channel, that's all you see. In the digital television world, like the one Mr. G has at Benap, one TV channel will allow you 6 different programs. When you switch your channel to channel 25, you will see 25.1, 25.2, 25.3, 4, 5, 6, and 6. As technical monitors, as Philip had highlighted, your main function is keeping the relay facilities on the air. And as he also mentioned, you are the eyes and ears on the ground. And your vigilance ensures that educational content reaches the students.
We are exactly 1 month away from NGSA 2026. The exam is set for April 29 and 30. Here are some of the study tools available to you. Tune in to EdYou FM on weekdays for grade 6 lessons in math, English, science, and social studies. We broadcast on 99.5 FM in regions 3, 4, and 5, 89.9 FM in Ituni, Maruka, and Port Kaituma, 98.9 FM in New Amsterdam, and 99.9 FM everywhere else in Guyana. You can also listen via our website, www.edyu.fm, and via our mobile app, EdPal. EdPal is a free mobile app available for all Android devices. The app supplements the work of the radio station by giving users the flexibility to access lessons for specific grade levels. For grade 6 students, we have created the NGSA Toolbox where you can find all of the lessons for each of the course subjects, as well as health and family life education. The Guyana Learning Channel's WizKids. This dynamic game show challenges participants from diverse backgrounds on various topics in math, English, science, and social studies. You can catch all 5 seasons of WizKids at Guyana Learning Channel on YouTube. And then there's the Quiz Me platform. This platform provides students with multiple choice exam questions from each of the core subjects that they can practice in preparation for NGSE. When a student completes a quiz on the website, their answers are marked within seconds of submission and their results, including any corrections, are shown. And finally, there's the WhatsApp channel. You can follow the Ministry of Education Grade 5 and 6 channel on WhatsApp for more updates, study tips, and quizzes. Last week, Minister Parag visited some of the math classes being held on Saturdays and offered some advice and encouragement to the students.
In a few weeks, you're going to be heading to that very important exam. And why it's important is because it determines your placement at a school, and a school that you might be and your parents might be aspiring for you to go, and we want you to do very well, and we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to do very well. So this is what we're providing for you, and we want you to take the opportunity. So don't stay away from the lessons as best as you can. Unless there is something that's really keeping you away, don't stay away from it. Just a few more weeks, you can push it in and you can get to that mark. Everything else takes a backseat right now. Get to that point, and so you can enjoy the rewards.
The Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate CSEC is fast approaching as well. The ministry has intensified its efforts to improve results in mathematics. This week, Minister Parag announced that math tents will be set up in various locations to guide students through practice papers leading up to the exam.
So following our third maths mock exams for CSEC, I just wanted to bring a quick update to our students as well as the parents of those students. It's not in relation to the results of the mock exams. However, we have on Saturday, which is the maths tents being set up at various locations across the regions. And we're going to be bringing several students from several schools in one space, and they will be practicing maths papers for the final CSEC exams. So that's something new that we've had, in addition to, of course, the math intervention. I have with me here this afternoon Sir Leon Beaton, and most of you know him as Beating the Maths with Sir Leon, and he is a part and parcel of this initiative as well. We would have had the maths intervention program where we have maths monitors monitoring various schools and students who are writing the CSEC maths, whether it's grade 10 or 11. And we are now introducing this new initiative as an additional measure to ensure that our students are successful at mathematics come May of 2026 at their exams. So from Saturday, you will be seeing us visiting various locations, myself, Leon, visiting various locations where students will be coming together to practice these maths papers. And I can't emphasize and re-emphasize enough how important it is for you to keep practicing these past papers. It's really important that you practice, because that practice is what is going to make you successful in the exams. So with that, I'll just ask Sir Leon to say a few words to you.
All right, thank you very much, Minister. So you have completed 3 mock exams. You have the results for those mock exams. You also have the papers for those mock exams. So at this stage, you should be finalizing your preparation, and the maths tent will be there to offer you further support in your preparation. You'll practice papers, because as Minister said, the most important thing with mathematics, passing mathematics, is that practice. So you'll be guided with some expert math teachers around the country. So wherever you're located, look out for the location where the maths tent will be held. And in addition to the math tent, you also want to do your own practice at home as well when you're by yourself. So by now, you should have your study timetable. Mathematics is in approximately 48 days, probably when this video is aired. So you have 48 days to finalize yourself for the exam. And you should have learned some exam tips as well, some exam techniques in the mock exams. If you did not finish the first mock exam or the third mock exam, you should manage your time in the actual CSEC. All right, so see you at the mathematics tent and also keep practicing the maths.
Please look out for the schedule on the Ministry of Education's page. We will be sharing the schedules of various locations at which the tent will be set up. And we're asking parents, we're encouraging parents to have your children be a part of the maths tent. It will help them because they will be doing the actual the past papers and practicing these past papers, which will help them to be more prepared for the exam. So we are encouraging you to be present. It's just a few weeks more. Just put in the effort, and I'm sure that you will be successful. And this is all to ensure that you are successful.
Now, the month of March is dedicated to raising awareness about developmental disabilities. Last week, we learned about Down syndrome, and today, we learn about cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a group of chronic movement and posture disorders caused by abnormal brain development or damage before, during, or shortly after birth. Joining us today to help us understand cerebral palsy better is SEND teacher Stanton Marks. Sir Marks, welcome to EdYou Pulse.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now tell us, what is it like for you as somebody living with cerebral palsy? Of course, it's different for everybody. Everybody experiences the disability differently. They might have different ranges of motion, different capabilities with speech and so on. But what is it like for you? What's your experience like?
Well, for me, it's 50-50 because mine is not that severe. I can still walk. I can still have the motor skills ability with my hands and feet to some degree, but I do experience some challenges. For example, I can't lift certain amount of weight. Keeping my balance, I must hold on to an object when I'm going up the stairs. Sometimes when I walk long distances, it do hurt a little bit, you know. So it's kind of 50-50 because I am somewhat independent, and then again, I still need some help. So it's a little challenging.
You mentioned being independent though. How important is your independence to you?
Very, very. My late mother, she once said, no one's going to feel sorry for you for the rest of your life. Come visit me and come stay with me is two different things. And I took that to heart. Growing up in school, I struggled a little bit. I wasn't a high flyer. To be exact, I failed most of my courses. I had to discover what I was good at and develop that. And when my mom told me that particular statement, it really stuck with me, lack of a better word, because there's going to be a time when you will have to move out to mommy's house. Sometimes you may want to have a wife or kids or husband. Depending on the gender, whoever you want to have, a woman needs to learn how to cook. A man needs to learn how to provide for his wife. You think you understand what I'm saying? The independence is very, very important. When you go to somebody's house and visit, you'll feel away if you can't help them pick up a broom and sweep out the house or wash the dishes or help do something, because come stay with me and come live with me is two different things. I guarantee you that.
Indeed. Now, you are a teacher. You graduated just last year.
Yes.
So what inspired you to become a teacher, and why did you decide to focus on special education needs and disabilities?
Well, I'm from a Region 10, a place called Kwakwani. And the teachers there in my foundation, they helped me. They helped me to discover what I was good at. They treated me like family and not just a student. And because of their support, because of their help, even when I came here in Georgetown and I furthered my studies, the support that I received from all those who played a part helped me to be who I am today. And I wanted to give back. I wanted to help those who needed it just like I did. And that's why I choose special ed, because I'm differently able. And I know that I can make a difference in those individuals' lives, just like how my teachers made a difference in mine.
Now tell us about some of those teachers. Who were some of the teachers that really made a positive impact in your life? Or who was a most memorable teacher for you?
Wow, I had a few of them. Miss Dolit Morian is presently at QC.
Okay.
Right? She never make joke. She never make joke. You know, if we have a task to do, we had to do it. And there was no special treatment. At least make an effort. Miss Pamela Adrian, she was my agriculture teacher. Sometimes, on my knees in the farm, pulling out sticks and twigs and all these things, trying to plant. Miss Sharon Reese early on. Let me see, when I came down here, I went to Morgan Learning Center.
Okay.
Girl, he don't make joke. He don't make joke. The early morning classes, the late in the evenings, you know. Even when you feel like giving up, they pushed you to go beyond your limits. Because in the world of work, sometimes you have to go beyond your limits.
Yeah.
To know what you're good at. Can you work under pressure? You know, I had an American teacher of PE from the States.
Mm-hmm.
She did some routine, what do you call it? Routine exercises.
Mm-hmm.
And my feet could not have done the things that they were doing. But the thing that really stuck out to me, she said, even if you can't do it, try. If you don't try, you will never know. I had a few. I went to IDC through UG. I had some good teachers. Even Miss Liverpool from Queen's College, she was my IT teacher. Mm-hmm. That's when I learned that I really was good at IT.
Yeah.
So a few of them played a big role, and I'm grateful for all of them, you know.
Now, in your training to become a teacher, what was that experience like for you?
Like sweet and sour chicken.
That sounds good though.
Like sweet and sour chicken. We had our good moments.
Yeah.
We had our moments that you want to pull your hair out your head. The late night submissions. Mm-hmm. It was a good learning experience, and I am grateful for the opportunity to go there. It's not like high school. No one's going to run behind you to do your work. You're being prepared for the world of work. You are expected, to have your task done. You had to work with people that you and their personality always clashes. You don't agree, you bite your teeth and smile, hi, how are you? And you know we can't stay together for too long. We argue, we get upset, but at the end of the day, we have a task to be done. And going to college and working with so many different persons from different regions, because a part of it was online. I had colleagues from Linden, I had colleagues from Region 4, I had colleagues from Berbice, and we had to work with each other, and it was a good experience, even though, to be honest, I don't like working in groups up to this day.
That's understandable.
I do not like working in groups, but working with my colleagues, we get to learn each other, we get to grow and learn about each other, we get to grow. And that's what the world of work is. We may not always agree. Mm-hmm. But once you're at the institution, for example, here you have one goal. And you know what that goal is. Mm-hmm. When I'm at my school, trust me, some days, we have our days that everything seems like it's going wrong. Oh, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. And you got to work with persons with different personality. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's hard, but as long you pay attention to the bigger goal, those same persons will help you, and each and every one of you will grow, and you will become the best that you can be. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's what happens at my workplace. We don't always agree. I teach math and I teach IT. I have teachers that teach life skills. I have teachers that teach digital literacy now. We have social studies, and we have a few others. these persons are trained in their field. I'm trained in mine. So we have to work with persons who were trained differently, have more skills in a different area. You can't go and tell me it is social studies, me no know about social studies. Like, I know the basics to help myself, but to teach...
that's not your specialty.
Exactly.
Right.
Information technology is, and special ed, you know. So, for example, you might be a good speaker. I might be a good thinker. You come to me, okay, Sir Marks, what do you think about this? I will scan it. I will think, I'll bring up ideas. Okay, I think you should do this. I think you should do this. More is this and see what happens here. And I pass the information out to you, and you come and you open your lexicon and you do your thing. You must know your colleagues' strengths and weaknesses. And I think working in a group, working at college and getting to interact with so many persons, it just sharpened my skills. You know, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, that's really great. Now, we're hearing about your experience coming through primary school, high school, going to CPC for a training to become a teacher. What can we do based on your experience? What can we do to make learning environments more accommodating for you? Of course, you can't speak to everybody who has a disability, not even everybody who lives with cerebral palsy, for example. But I'm sure that there are some abilities that many of us take for granted that are, for lack of a better word, normal to everybody else, but we might not consider it for a person who has, in your case, for example, cerebral palsy. So what are some things that we can do to make maybe a workplace or a learning environment, especially for children? What can we do to make our learning environments more accommodating?
Okay. In special ed, we learn about something called moderate, severe, and I think it's 3. Moderate, severe, and profound. Basically, it's from the least to the very serious. And that will depend of what you can do. For example, as you can see, I can walk, I can grab stuff. Persons with wheelchairs, some persons have it so severe they're in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Having wheelchairs at some of the locations that persons have disability, that will give them the accessibility to come where you are, right? Ramps, the wheelchair. Some of them need proper railings, you know. Sometimes an elevator might be more effective for us instead of walking up the stairs, because cerebral palsy depends on the severeness of it. Your muscle contracts, your muscle pulls up very tight. For example, when I was younger, at the back of my leg was pulled up, almost like if you're feeling trapped here. It's so tight. So the flexibility wasn't there.
Right.
So when I had to climb up long stairs, it was really hard for me to climb up long stairs. I had to hold on. And if you're up in an elevator, it's enclosed, you just hold on the ramp and you reach your passer. So the wheelchairs, ramps, differentiated instructions for kids with cerebral palsy, depending on the severeness of it. That means it's not one cap fit all. Your differentiated instructions when it comes to schooling, some of them mightn't be able to write, but they can point. Some of them mightn't be able to read right away, but they can answer you verbally. You can use audio so that they can learn more faster. You can use videos. You can use kinesthetics. One thing I learned at my workplace there, one thing that would make you more effective is connecting it to what the kids like. And for example, some persons are more hands-on. You use things that they can manipulate with their hands and so forth. Some persons like listening to audio. For me, I'm going to be honest, I love audios. It's like I'm listening to a movie. It's like I'm listening to a radio broadcast. At that time, I don't have to worry, oh, how do you pronounce this? And how do you pronounce that? How do you spell this?
Yeah.
It will take your focus off of the message and focus on something that you can do, and then you're gonna lose the big picture. So it depends upon the individual and how severe it is.
Yeah, those are some really, really good suggestions. Now, let's talk about myths. What are some myths or some misconceptions about cerebral palsy that you would like to dispel?
I don't think for me, it's not just about cerebral palsy, but it's about disability in general. Not because you have a disability, that means you can't learn. People forget that individuals learn differently. Like I just mentioned, persons learn hands-on, manipulated, audio, visual. And not because they are not able to express it right away, that doesn't mean information is not being processed. It might not be processed at the fastness that you want it to be processed. But trust me, information is being processed. Don't be fooled with an individual that have a disability. Oh, they can't learn or they don't understand what you're saying. They're hearing it though. And before you know it, they can relate certain things to you in their own way. Sometimes my kids can't tell me what I want directly, but I can say, try it. Look at some of the movies on television. When persons are traumatized, what they do, put them to draw it, and they'll be able to represent what is happening through a drawing. Some can write. When some persons are in shock, they can't talk the words, but they can write it. I did a research the other day. A man had a family, and he did not know how to express or show love to his family. His kids were like, why daddy don't love us? Why don't he show affection? It's just that he didn't know how to. But he wrote every single thing. He wrote a letter to all of his children, expressing himself the way he knew how to. And that's very important. Don't be fooled by an individual. Do not. They can learn. They learn differently. Information is being processed differently. They're differently abled, or lack of a better word, how better that person feels to express themselves. Some persons say that you can't use the word differently able anymore. But to me, I love it. And for me, this is my opinion, I would say I am differently able. And I love it because it brings a variety, another method of doing something. It's not the same. It will not be the same. Variety is the spice of life. If you ain't got proper seasoning and pot, it got veal darling in it. Variety is the spice of life, darling. And for me at least, I would say I'm differently able, and I'm proud of it. At first, I did not know how to express, but the more mature I get and the more older I get, I'm glad I'm differently able. I'm glad that my situation, my outer appearance, push me to find a solution to whatever I need. You don't always have to go one way. You can always find it. Come on, at one time you may be a radio announcer. Another time you may be a carpenter. Another time you may be a chef. Your positions in life don't determine who you are. And when you are hit with life itself and your back is against the wall, it pushes you to come up with ideas. It pushes you to come up with solutions. And hence my predicament. I love being differently able, darling. I love that. And it's what makes us unique. It really is what makes us unique. Because if the whole world was black and gray, you wouldn't enjoy the colors of the roses. You wouldn't enjoy the color of the sky. You wouldn't enjoy creation around you if it was just black and gray. But the variety of what we can do and how we can do it That's what makes life interesting.
Well, Stanton, you've shared a very inspiring story with us. And before we go, one last question. What would you like to instill in your students? Of course, you're a math teacher, you're an IT teacher, but outside of the formal education itself, what is a quality that you would like to instill in your students?
I would like them to be determined, go after what they want, because in life you will have obstacles. But I would like them to be determined, because there are going to be doors that are going to say no. Sometimes it might be 99 doors, but on that 100 door, there's a yes. And if you give up before your time, you will not reap what you want. So I would like them to be determined.
Great. Well, Sir Marks, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining us here on EdYou. I am sure that everybody has been inspired by your story, and we're looking forward to every other good thing that you do in your career as a teacher and in any other endeavor that you choose to pursue. So once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Here's a recap of this week's featured stories. We highlighted the National Drama Company's Musings of a Poet 4, while highlighting pathways for young people to further their education in the arts and pursue careers in the creative industries. We looked at how the Distance Education Unit is strengthening education delivery through a scriptwriting workshop for secondary school teachers and a technical workshop aimed at supporting EdUFM monitors across the country. We also kicked off the countdown to NGSA 2026 while sharing helpful study tools as well as support for students sitting math for CSEC. For Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, SEND teacher Stanton Marks shared his experience living with cerebral palsy and promoting inclusion in education. And that's all for this week's episode of EdYou. Thanks for watching. Do join us again next time.